Hey everybody, welcome to your first day of online learning. So I just want to remind you guys that I'm going to post all of the videos on Monday and everything is going to be due on Sunday, but I'm suggesting that you do one video a day to make sure that you stay on track. So don't make sure that you don't get too far behind. But if there's one day that you can't do some work, not a big deal. Just make sure that you're keeping up. Okay, so we are going to we're going to start with talking about logs. This is our first day of logs. We're going to start it off pretty easy. So before we went on break, we were talking about exponentials. So logs are the inverse of exponentials. And if you remember from before, inverse just means it's when we switch our x and our y value and we get our inverse function. So when we have an exponential, so I'm going to give you something like 5 to the x equals 4. Okay, this is our first example. So this 5 is called our base. Okay, so in our exponential, the base is that larger number that has the exponent to it. So today we're going to learn how to switch from exponentials to logs and from logs to exponentials. So when you are switching, you always want to identify the base first. So here the 5 is our base. Okay, so when we write logs, the base for a log is always, it's called a subscript. It's the little number that's like almost underneath a little bit and to the right of the G in log. So we've got log base 5. Then you take your x and your 4, and we're going to switch those places. So the 5 was with the x, but now we're going to switch it so that the 5 is with the 4. So we're going to say log base 5. Now we're going to write the 4 because we want to switch the place of the x and the 4. And this 4 is just a normal size number, a large number, where this 5 is a little number. And then we have equal to x. Okay, and then we just switched it from an exponential to a log. So again, figure out first what that base is. You take the base and then you're switching those other two numbers. Okay, so now we're going to go the other way. For example, 2, I'm going to give you a log. Okay, so we're going to have log base 3 of x equals 7. Okay, so again, first thing, identify that base. So for our logs, the base is the little number. So it's that 3 right there. That's my base. Okay, so now when I write it into exponentials, that 3 should be the big number that has the exponent. Okay, and then I take the x and the 7 and I swap those. So now instead of having the 3 and the x together, now the 3 is going to be with the 7. So it's 3 to the 7th power equals x. Okay, so again, find the base, swap the other two numbers. For your log, the base is the little number. For the exponential, it's going to be the big number with the exponent. Okay, so now let's go to another example, example number 3. Okay, and we're going to go back to, we'll do some more exponentials. So remember, you're not solving any of these. All that you're doing is switching it from an exponential to a log or a log to an exponential. So I don't really, right now, I'm not concerned with what x is equal to. I just want to switch between the two different functions. So again, identify the base. It's 7 there. So this is an exponential, so I'm going to switch to a log. So I've got log. My base is 7 for the log. It's going to be the little number. And then I take the 6 and the x, and I'm swapping those two. So now, instead of it being 7 and 6 on the same side, it's going to be 7 with the x equals 6. Okay. So again, biggest thing, you need to make sure that you can identify the base. Then once you identify the base, put it in the right spot, and then just swap those other two numbers. Okay, so now we're going to go to example number 4. We're going to do one more exponential, and then we're going to go to some more logs. So we've got x squared equals 3. Okay, again, base right here, x. I'm going to change it into a log. The base for the log is the little number. Swap that 2 and that 3. So now it's going to be log base x of 3 equals 2. And there's our answer. Okay, so once you get good at these, they're super, super quick. You're just taking the base, swap the other two. If it's an exponential, change it to a log. If it's a log, change it to an exponential. Number 5, we're going to go back to some logs here. So we've got log base x of 5 equals 2. Okay, so this is a log, so I'm changing it to an exponential. Again, first thing, always find the base. My base here is x. Then after I found the base, switch those two numbers. So now it's going to be x squared equals 5. Okay. Last one, number 6. Log base 4 of 6 equals x. Okay, again, same thing every single time. Make sure you find the base. Base is 4. Swap those other two numbers. Now it's 4 to the x equals 6. Okay, so there are some homework questions posted for you on Edsby. You are doing the exact same thing that we just did here. Find that base, switch those other two numbers. If it's a log, change it to an exponential. If it's an exponential, change it to a log.